Alright, so I wanted to kind of chime in a little bit on this WILDBEARD discussion about Hirshbach. And he's right. If you were at Hirshbach, and this, honestly, even if he wasn't doing this video, okay, even if he didn't send out all the messages that he has, and I'll put a link of the original video in the description. Even if he didn't do all this, I still, if I was at Hirshbach, as soon as I saw the name Richard Stocking come across as becoming the new owner, I'm out of there. Because I was at Swift. I know what happened at Swift. I know Swift was, I wouldn't say they were on the verge of going belly up, but they were on the verge of having to sell a lot of assets and, you know, downsizing quite a bit. Again, I don't think they would have went belly up. They're too large. But yes, he's accurate and on point. Just a quick synopsis and backstory. I was at Swift when all of that took place with Richard and Moise and Knight taking over or merging, acquiring, whatever you want to call it. And a little bit of a history lesson. Knight was actually at Swift many years ago, and they were friends. Moise and Knight were friends, and they remained friends, and they were both Phoenix based, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how that played a role. Also, he was on the board. He owned, you know, a lot of shares in Swift, and so did Stocking. And Stocking was able to push out Jerry Moise because of his stock shares, because Moise got to the point, okay, this is another history lesson. Moise was banned from the SEC from trading, and he can only trade in certain stocks. He can only own certain stocks because he basically monopolized the industry and was, I think he either went to jail or they were threatening him to go to prison because he was essentially playing with stock shares, and they caught him doing it. And he also was acting kind of like the bank to some of these companies. Like, these companies were filing bankruptcy, okay? He would basically go to them and say, hey, I'll loan you the money for you to come out of bankruptcy and be able to operate, right? Sorry, I got my windows down. And in return, you had to pay me back this amount of money or this amount of interest, or I acquire your company. He did it with MS Carriers. He did it with, I don't even remember. Dude, Swift acquired like 6, 7, 8 different companies. And that's how they got so big. But yeah, so essentially that's basically why Stocking was kind of able to push out Moise. And Moise, again, had that friendship with Knight and was able to basically backdoor his way into pushing Stocking out. And essentially, he did it mainly so his family still had a legacy. His family still had that Swift name and the income and all of the above that comes with it. And it's very tragic, excuse me. It's very tragic. And yes, Stocking is I would not be surprised if that man made out with a lot of money from the Swift and Knight acquisition, the closure of Celadon, and now even with Hirshbach. And he's doing all of these things. They're doing all of these things because their stocks, it's going to start affecting their stocks. And I got a little news flash for you. When you put an autonomous truck on the road and it kills somebody, you're not going to have a scapegoat. So honestly, I mean, at this point, WILDBEARD should just let it happen. and that truck go out and kill somebody, and guess what? You're going to be sued for millions of dollars. Millions. Also, I'm sorry, I forgot this little nugget about Swift. The acquisition and merger occurred right around the time of that $100 million lawsuit. And they settled at $100 million. It was way more than that. I can't remember the exact number. But the dude, when I was there, I was around out of Columbus. And it was one of the main ones where they did the student training and the orientation and all of that. There towards the end, there was hardly any students or orientation people. There towards the end, they were putting out equipment for spinning freezes, basically equipment like maintenance. Like you couldn't get parts for maintenance. Like normally they had parts on hand. There towards the end, like the last year or so I was there, dude, I would have had to wait 3, 4, 5 days for a part to come in, and it was an easy part that they should have on stock. And you know, maybe speculation, maybe they ran through them, but I highly doubt it, because they put out spinning freezes on equipment, on hiring, on pretty much everything. I mean, they were limiting how much fuel you had to begin with. Like they would, especially company drivers, they would limit where, like you would. When I was a company driver, dude, I had to stop 3 different times to get fuel in one day because of how they planned it out. Because of, they're playing with the you know, prices and the national average and all of that, which is, I mean, it's a smart thing to do, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it was just so much. It was so much micromanaging. It was ridiculous. And you know, when it comes to Hirshbach, I can somewhat sympathize and agree with lowering the speeds of the trucks, because it does do a roll. I mean, if even from 70 to 67, that's a pretty big jump. With if you did that with 1,000 trucks, it's a lot of money at the end of the year. I mean, you're talking. I don't really want to do the math because I'm gonna drag this video out, but I stand with WILDBEARD, and we all should. And it's not just against Hirshbach; it's all of these companies. And I'll do one even better than he's doing. If you're a broker, if you're a shipper or receiver, and you're using these companies, stop. Stop using them. Don't do business with them. Don't do business with them. Most of them are crooked and screwing over their lease purchase and lease drivers anyways, to be quite honest. They're structuring things and planning, and they know what they're doing. You know, that's the unfortunate truth about it. But sorry, I'm a smoker. I know it's, say what you want, think what you want, I don't care. But yeah, I stand with WILDBEARD, and we all should. And yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. You know, the worst part is the bad part is if you were still there at Hirshbach and trying to do all this, they would essentially make you take your videos down and sign an NDA and probably give you a payout. And the reason why I know this is because I pretty much had a company by the balls, and they gave me what they owed me, and I had to sign an NDA. That's about all I can say about it. And it's the unfortunate way that these companies operate, man. It truly is. It's sad, really. And again, you know, it's politics. And another nugget of information: politics came into a role. Political views came into play when it came to the whole feud between Stocking and Moyes and Knight and Presley. dude. there's so much into this, dude. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, if you legitimately think this is a good idea to go to autonomous trucks, it's no different than it's the same thing. Like, I've been making videos. I made a couple of videos about lease and lease purchases. It's literally the same thing that they're doing. They're instead, I mean, they're investing way more money, but at the end of the day, it's gonna cost them less because they don't have to pay drivers. It's a very large initial investment, but over the course of 5 to 10 years, the return on investment is there. I could see that aspect of it, but at the same time, again, something's going to happen, and it's going to destroy that business and every business that's going down this road. That's the truth of the matter. And it doesn't belong in trucking. It doesn't. It's not like, you know, airplanes with autopilot, or even boats. You know, like, there's no objects for them to hit other than each other, and they're all intercommunicating. The only way that this is going to work with vehicles on the road is if they're all intercommunicating. We don't have the infrastructure for it. We don't. Period. And not only autonomous trucks, but you're trying to do electrical as well. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But that's my 2 cents. That's me chiming in. That's me. I'm with you, WILDBEARD. I could do whatever I can to speak out about it, but I don't know how much else I'll be able to help other than that, really. And I don't have a following. I just started making videos. I'm usually trying to stay out of the political bullshit. I'm usually trying to stay under the radar and trying to just, you know, I don't like attention. I really don't. I like to live my life in peace. I don't like drama. But this is something that we all need to stand against, for sure. But yeah, Stocking, you're a real piece of work. Presley, you're a real piece of work, because I know that you got about half a dozen different drivers fired from night, or basically forced them to resign. Essentially what you did. I know about all that. The thing about it is I've got a good memory. A lot of people might forget it, but I haven't forgot about it. I know exactly what the fuck happened. I remember it all, because I followed all these guys. I was a part of the Facebook groups, like Super Truckers of America at the time. Like, I remember all of it, dude. And some people also remember it. And, you know, I just, the bad part is they think because we're little guys that, you know, it's not going to go anywhere, and they've got money and power. Buddy, I promise you, there's more power in numbers than there is in small numbers and bigger pockets. Promise you that. But y'all have a good day. I got to get rolling here, so have a good one. WILDBEARD, I'm with you. Everybody stand with WILDBEARD. I'll put the link of his video, his original video, in the description, and you can search through and find the most recent one. I think he posted it yesterday or 2 days ago. Today is the 20, what is today? 26th. So he posted that, I believe, the 25th or 24th. I'm not sure, but it's got Hirshbach in the name. So Y'all have a good day. Be safe. Leave Hirshbach. Quit doing business with them. Even if you're, especially if you're a broker, shipper, receiver, cut them out. Find a way to get out of that contract. Do whatever you got to do. Get the hell out of there. All of you. Have a good day.